Hello and welcome. So for today's video and the last video of 2017, I'd like to show you guys my new bullet journal. 2017 has been a pretty busy and stressful year for me, so I thought what better way to start over and start a clean slate than by starting a new bullet journal. So that's what I did. First page is just a key. So it's just sort of an overview of the different symbols I'll use in my to-do lists on my everyday spreads. And for all the headers and drawings and writing in my bullet journal, I use one of two fine liners. I use either the Artline 0.1 or the Micron 0.05 fine liners. Then on the next pages, I did a yearly overview, so I wrote down every single day of the month for the entire year of 2018, which took a long time, but I think it turned out pretty nice. And then I just wrote the months above in sort of a fake calligraphy font and used some watercolor to put a purple color over the weekdays and the year. And then I also added some of the flowery theme from the previous page. And on the opposite page, I took some watercolor paper from a different notebook and cut it out to the exact size of the notebook. And then I used my Winsor Newton travel watercolor set to create this mix of purple and blues on the page, using different techniques to get lots of different textures in the colors. And then I just stuck it in my notebook, and then I wrote this quote on it, which says, "Get out of your own way." And essentially, this is just a way of reminding myself not to let my fears get in the way of doing the things that I want to do and not defining my choices. And that's why I think this is a good quote, because I often get in my own way. And that's something that I want to work on in 2018. On the next few pages, I did a YouTube tracker, and this is not relevant for everyone, but it's handy for me because then I can track my subscriber count and the number of views I get every month. It's nice for me to have like a visual of the growth on my channel. I just used some washi tape to frame the box in the middle. And then I decorated with the same flowery theme as previously and made two little YouTube logos with flowers at the top. And then I put 5 little bubbles at the bottom of the page that are the next big milestones for my channel. As with the previous pattern, I went over the flowers with my gray Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen to define the shadows. On the next page, I just did a video idea spread, where I made a little box with space for video ideas. So this is sort of a YouTube spread where I can track my channel and jot down all the ideas for videos that I have in the future. On the next page, I did a savings tracker. So I drew 4 little jars one for travels, one for apartment, one for YouTube, and one for my total savings. So basically every time I put some money aside, I choose which jar they go into, and then I can keep track of my savings and what I intended them for. Then I did some small watercolor details. And on the opposite side, I made a 2018 wish list that I also divided into categories. So I have one for travel and one for apartment and then one for other. So these are going to be the more expensive things that I might want to buy for myself that I can't just buy spontaneously, but that I need to save up for. And then I just did a few little doodles to match the different categories. For the next spread, I grabbed another page from my watercolor notepad and drew 3 little shells with books on it. So this is gonna be my books to read in 2018 spread, where I'm gonna write, every time I find a book that I want to read, I'm gonna write the title on the back of one of the books, and then when I've read it, I color the book in. I just find this very motivating, and it reminds me to read on a consistent basis. On the page next to, I made a 2018 bucket list. I'm just gonna write down things that I think might be fun and could be cool to do in 2018. And then in the next section, I continued with my January spread. So this is my monthly spread. And I started by taking a watercolor sketchbook and cutting out a page to match my Moleskine notebook. And then I painted this sort of moon shape. I thought it looked pretty cool. I was gonna write January over it in the start, but then I thought it looked too pretty, so I wrote it above instead. And then I just stuck that into the notebook, and then on the opposite side, I wrote every day of the week for the month and every date vertically. This is my sort of monthly overview, where I'm gonna write things for the different days in the month. And then I just put a little picture in the bottom and a little quote up in the top. For the next page, I made an expense tracker. So this is just where I'm gonna write down my expenses during January so I can keep track of it. On the opposite side, I just put in some pretty pictures that went with the theme. Then I wrote "Smile More" and another quote up in the top corner. And then for the last 2 pages, it's my weekly spread. So this is just for the first week of January, and this is where I'm going to be writing my daily to-do lists, events, notes, and things like that. So that was it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I wish you a great 2018.